why you decided to publish all this massive data right now?
Because all information that can be available should be available. A lot of this had disappeared from the public view, and it was difficult or impossible to access. A lot of people, especially in the West, aren't even aware that the data existed.
Can you describe a bit how you find these archives, yes, archived data, after some of them were deleted or somehow were erased from the network?
Friends in the hacking community, as well as several people who have been collecting these things over the years for their business purposes. One firm was particularly kind in opening up their archive to us towards the end, which provided us with a lot of data we hadn't encountered before.
We today talked with people from Russian administration, from Kremlin, because we are now based in Moscow. They said one of the opinions of those people that it's a kind of an intended attack on them. What do you think about this, and have you got a kind of a message to those Russian officials?
No message, except that if you view information and the truth as an attack, then that says as much as the information itself could possibly say. The information is not intended to cause a big upheaval. In fact, we believe that it's going to take a long time for the information to be fully mined and cross-referenced. We also think that a lot of it is going to be especially useful to historians reconstructing the record after the fact, whereas journalists now will be able to benefit a great deal from it, we believe, but the primary benefit is to historians and to history itself.
Mm-hmm. What do you expect now to happen with all those data? They are now available for, first of all, journalists look through them, but what do you expect?
We expect it to enhance a lot of people's reporting, and we hope to make it easier for people to explore and exploit the information within it. We recently acquired database exports of the entire set, which we are looking into how to best make those available to people. It's our hope that those can be implemented in a way on the web that people will be able to search through the archives without having to download and import the entire set itself, which we do understand is prohibitive because it totals to 175 gigabytes of data, which is a large portion of most people's hard drives.
Can you tell about yourself a bit, because it's not a lot of information about you, but what's your motivation and what's your background in this project?
My motivation is simply to increase transparency and make sure that the information is available. I've been doing a lot of Freedom of Information Act reporting over the last several years, and I've, among other things, helped get the CIA declassified database online, which was about 13 million pages of CIA documents, which are now searchable by anyone, anywhere in the world with an internet connection. I have spent a lot of time and effort getting information released to the public through both official channels, such as the Freedom of Information Act and mandatory declassification programs, as well as facilitating access to leaked data when appropriate.
I've also read that you were planning to work with a WikiLeaks website and with Julian Assange. Is it right or not?
Yes and no. In the early days of the plans for the CIA database, when we were working on getting that released, WikiLeaks had expressed interest in publishing it themselves and wanting to partner on the matter. However, they were ultimately unable to proceed with that. In hindsight, this is because of the various projects that they were embarking on at the time, specifically the DNC Podesta releases, Vault 7, and those sort of things. However, there was no planned partnership beyond that, and some general information sharing between myself and various people at WikiLeaks, including Julian Assange.
Am I right that this publication of data is not only about Russian government and some pro-Russian actors, yes, but you as an organization deal with information from many parts of the world and make them available?
Yes, yes. We divide up our releases currently by region and topic, so that it's easiest for people to find the information that they're looking for. We have far more releases dealing with North American and specifically targets in the United States of America than we do with the Russian releases. And any focus that we give to one particular area is always in the short term. We rounded up a lot of Russian data at once, and we're working on a lot of other things, including several projects that will illuminate activities of the US government and US aligned actors in the coming months.
Are you worried about, I don't know, a kind of Russian secret services respond or any threats to you, anything like this?
Well, we've seen what seem to be efforts to interfere with several of our systems. Shortly after we released the data set, there was a distributed denial of service attack on the server hosting the central index of our information. And we've noticed a number of Russian IP addresses trying to scan various portions of our networks. Ultimately, we are not terribly concerned, especially as long as we remain outside of Russia ourselves. The tendency to retaliate by Russian intelligence services is usually reserved for their own people. They would be more likely to take effort to prevent a publication than to retaliate for one, which is one reason why we bumped up the release of the information when we detected efforts to wipe one of our systems.